Hello everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody is doing well. The sun finally came out for a little bit, so it really is summer now, mostly. Anyways, today I just want to talk briefly about banking. So that's what I'm going to be doing later this afternoon. So I spent yesterday, like I said, having a bit of a relax. Today, Tuesdays are my coaching and mentoring day. So I've had quite a few coaching calls this morning and I'm going through all of that stuff. So I've got one more quick one this afternoon and then I'm off to the bank. So one of the reasons I wanted to talk about banking is because I know some people get quite confused about this when they're getting a business set up of, what kind of bank account they should have, whether you need a business bank account or is your personal bank account good enough? Should you have a separate personal bank account? So I just want to talk through a couple of options. First, what we're doing. So we've got limited companies that we do our businesses through. So we've just recently opened another limited company, which I need to set up the bank account for. So when you have a limited company, you do need to have a business bank account. So, and this is specifically what they're kind of called at the bank. So we bank with HSBC. So we've got business bank accounts with their business banking branch, which means I have to meet with a business manager to get everything all set up. And now I think it's a bit of rubbish, really, because I don't really see any actual benefit of having a business bank account versus a personal bank account. There's no real difference in terms of what those accounts actually do. I think with the business bank account, they just charge you more, basically. So all I see is it's a way of the banks making money. But my understanding is that legally you do have to have a business bank account if you are set up as a limited company and a business. So there's generally good deals. So if you've just gotten started with your limited company, you generally get 18 months free banking with most of the bigger banks around. If you've already had your limited company for a while, you can switch banks, and generally they'll do a couple of months free as well. Otherwise, there are monthly fees for your business banking. The other option from business banking is if you don't have a limited company, you've got a bit more flexibility. You could open a business bank account. So if you are a sole trader or a partnership, you can open a business bank account. But again, you're generally going to have more fees. The other option is to use a personal, just normal bank accounts. I would always recommend that you open a separate bank account for any kind of business transactions. So even if you are a sole trader, and you've already got your own personal bank account set up a separate one that you're using just for business transactions, because it's going to make things a lot easier to keep track of and manage. Even if you aren't doing a lot yet and you think, oh, there'll only be one or two transactions, set up a separate bank account and only run business transactions through that account. Because otherwise, once you get down the road, it's going to be a lot easier to set it up and just to keep track of everything. So I have spoken with quite a few people who, maybe they bought one house or, they just started their business. So they just use their kind of original personal bank account that all their normal transactions go through. Once you get down the road and you need to do your bookkeeping and your self-assessment tax returns, it's a lot more difficult to pull all of those numbers out of your personal bank account and keep track of what's going in and what's going out. Whereas if you've just got a separate bank account set up, it's really easy. You know exactly what's happening in there and how much money you have. So I would really recommend that you set up a separate bank account. You're probably going to need to fund it. So, to start doing some advertising and marketing, just the legal setup of any business you're going to start. Put your money, so maybe you're going to put in £5,000 to get your business started. So put that £5,000 into your separate kind of brand new bank account for the business, whether that's a business bank account or a personal bank account. Make sure it's a separate account. And then you can track that money in and out just for the business. So I would stick with, if you're not a limited company, just get any old bank account, personal bank account. It can be with the same bank you're already banking with, but again, just make sure you have a separate checking account for all of your business transactions to go in and out of. And there are always deals, so check online and see what the best banking deals are for the moment. It's the same thing if you are a limited company. Again, you can loan from your personal self. You can loan money into the business as a director's loan, and that would go into your business bank account, and then you just track it from there. All of your spending stays within the business. So I'm off to HSBC this afternoon to set up our new bank account. It gets a little bit trickier setting up accounts because we have companies owned by other companies, so I can't just do it over the phone or online, but you definitely can if you're just setting up just a plain old simple bank account. You should be able to set most of them up online. Yeah, I hope that helps. We won't get into details about limited companies versus sole traders on this episode. I do have a blog about that at renttorentacademy.co.uk. So if you are interested in rent to rent or maybe any other business, you're wondering if you should be a sole trader or a limited company, pop over to renttorentacademy.co.uk and check out the blog there. I have written an article about that. Otherwise, thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow.